Jujutsu Kaisen's Satoru Gojo is a must-study character if one wants to write OP characters well. Why? Well, there are two things that always immediately stand out with Gojo when it comes to Jujutsu Kaisen. The first is his strength. The man is known as the strongest for a reason. Within Jujutsu Society, Gojo is primarily seen as just the strongest. His overwhelming power sets him apart and defines his role in the world. Many characters identify him by his strength first, and his reputation as the strongest precedes all else with him. And, furthermore, Gojo himself embraces this identity. He exudes confidence that borders on arrogance that is born from knowing he is the strongest. And this notch plays a role in his interactions, decisions, and way he carries himself. His power is a significant part of his identity. Despite all this, Gojo is one of the most popular characters in the entire franchise. While I'm certain he has his detractors, as is inevitable with characters like him, he still ranks incredibly high in popularity polls. In the first poll, he ranked 3 in popularity. In the second, he ranked 2nd, before dropping down to 3 again in the third one. He's consistent. Something is clearly being done right here. So, what was it? What can writers take away from Gojo when writing their own OP characters? Simple. The writing for Gojo doesn't rely on his power. He has depth beyond his power. OP characters who are actually defined exclusively by their power tend to have shallow characterization. These types often have no room for meaningful personal development, internal challenges, or anything beyond their initial state of power. The stories themselves can rely on their overwhelming power to resolve conflicts in straightforward and unchallenging ways. Oh, and, as I've often noticed, when a character's power is their only defining feature, they often overemphasize action scenes at the expense of character development and thematic exploration. I can accuse Jujutsu Kaisen of plenty of things when it comes to its handling of its characters, but I can't say Gojo's power leads to a shallow, predictable, unengaging narrative. Even though the Jujutsu world doesn't see it, he has depth beyond his power. And that's what you need to give your OP character if you wish to do well. With that in mind, I'll help you along. I have 8 tips for you to consider when adding layers to your OP characters. Use them and you'll get one step closer to becoming OP as a writer. Complex backstories are essential for providing context for an OP character's abilities and motivations. Understanding how they acquire their power, whether as a gift, a curse, or through rigorous training, sheds light on their relationship with their abilities. For instance, a character who gained their power through a traumatic event may harbor a more complex view of their strength compared to someone who received it as a birthright. Family background and upbringing also plays a crucial role. Characters raised in privilege may exhibit different values and coping mechanisms compared to someone who grew up in hardship. Key events in their past, victories, traumas, and transformative moments add further depth, helping to shape their current behavior and choices. These elements collectively form a foundation that makes the character's present actions and attitudes more understandable and relatable. To further humanize these characters and make them more accessible to audiences, exploring emotional vulnerabilities is vital. Personal relationships often dictate the character's actions and sacrifices, revealing the softer, more relatable side of these powerful figures. Bonds with friends, family, or love interest add layers to their characters and show their capacity for care and connection. Additionally, delving into their inner conflict can add significant depth. Do they fear the consequences of their power? Or are they burdened by past mistakes and self-doubt? Psychological weaknesses, such as anxiety or depression, contrast with their physical invincibility and highlight their humanity. These aspects allow audiences to connect with the characters on an emotional level, seeing beyond their omnipotence to their more vulnerable and relatable traits. Moral dilemmas serve as another rich vein for adding complexity to OP characters. Ethical decisions force them to choose between conflicting values, highlighting their internal and external conflicts. For example, a character might struggle between following their principles or doing what is necessary for the greater good. Exploring conflicting loyalties, such as duty versus personal relationships or individual survival versus collective benefit, adds further layers of tension and depth. Allowing characters to operate in morally gray areas challenges readers to consider the complexities of right and wrong in the context of the character's world and actions. These dilemmas make OP characters more relatable and their stories more engaging, as they navigate choices that are far from straightforward. Moving beyond their moral struggles, the exploration of identity and purpose is crucial for OP characters as they reconcile their extraordinary abilities with their personal identities. Their journey of self-discovery can reveal how they perceive their role in the world and what drives them. Are they defined by their power? Or do they see themselves as more than just their abilities? Grappling with existential questions about their purpose and the meaning of their power adds profound depth to their character arc. This introspection is particularly powerful when characters must balance their public persona with their private self, managing the expectations that come with being an OP character against their own needs and desires. Such exploration can lead to rich, multi-dimensional portrayals that resonate with audiences. Equally important is understanding the cultural and societal impacts of an OP character's abilities. Their power can affect their social status, making them revered, feared, or ostracized. This influence shapes how they interact with others and how they are perceived within their society. Cultural norms and expectations can also dictate their behavior, pushing them to conform to or rebel against societal roles and traditions. Furthermore, the responsibility that comes with their influence can be a source of conflict. Do they embrace their role, struggle with it, or seek to escape its burdens? By examining these dynamics, characters create OP characters who are deeply embedded in their worlds, influencing and being influenced by their societies. Balancing an OP character's abilities requires careful attention to their limitations and cost of their powers. Even the most powerful characters should face physical or mental strain when using their powers. This could manifest as fatigue, emotional detachment, or other costs that they must manage. Dependency on their power can also be a significant aspect of their character. What happens when they cannot rely on their abilities? How does this dependency affect their interactions and decisions? Setting personal or ethical boundaries for their use of power can create internal and external conflicts, adding to their complexity. These limitations ensure the OP character remains grounded and relatable despite their extraordinary abilities. In addition to these limitations, flaws and quirks are essential for making OP characters more human and engaging. Personal flaws like impatience, arrogance, or a quick temper can drive conflict and character growth. Unique quirks, such as a particular hobby, distinct mannerisms, or unusual perspective on life, make them memorable and endearing. Incorporating humor can also humanize them, showing that even the most powerful beings can have moments of clumsiness or social awkwardness. These traits add depth and relatability, making OP characters more than just their power and abilities. Lastly, conflict with their own power can add another layer of depth to OP characters. The immense power they possess can be a burden, isolating them from others or forcing them into roles they did not choose. Exploring their fear of misusing their power can lead to cautious or conflicted approaches to their abilities. Additionally, characters might struggle with control issues or experience moments when their powers fail them. These challenges provide opportunities for growth and introspection, showing that even the most powerful beings have vulnerabilities and struggles. So yeah, these 8 things can make your OP characters still great characters. Though maybe I'm off. Tell me what you think. Did I create something useful here? If you think I did and you want to keep hearing what I have to say on these types of topics, check out this playlist here as it further explores writing OP characters.